on the next one. Let's see. We're gonna still do my brand here, even though we're talking over it. And we are live.
Hey,
how you doing? We got Yanick in the house. You might have seen him sometimes on Carlos's Friday night show, but he also
exclusively.
yeah, and also have his own YouTube and Instagram where you could check him out. I do have right now in the chat a couple of his links for him. And also, I have it's in my description box. After 5 years of doing this, Yanick, I'm getting a little bit better doing things. Get a little ahead.
You can multitask. So.
yeah. I have sent out invites to a couple of other people, but we'll see. I'm starting to add new toys to the show and things like that. So we'll see how it goes tonight. Coming in a little early, like I said in my Saturday show, on the kickoff show for Weskergriff and his crew, talking about the Phillies starting tomorrow night, and also the kickoff show for the Texas and Houston Astros, the battle for Texas starting.
Battle for Texas,
which is starting to be that's going to be a pretty interesting series, Yanick. Them two teams. Even when the interleague, when the Astros started with the interleague play, when they're still National League, they started having a little bit of good games and started having a little bit of a fight for Texas then. So I'm hoping to check it out. Are you pulling for anybody in this with the last four teams, or
the last four teams? All of my predictions are basically off by way far, but we're actually having great series, I think, this year so far. And Philly, I quite enjoy watching them for sure. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jays got out early and maybe even later than I was expecting. So in a way, but I'm looking forward to the Texas battle that is going on. How far actually are even the distance between the two?
Me and my dad were talking about that. I think it's a short flight. Texas is a big state, really big state.
Is it right? The Rangers, I think, in Arlington.
Arlington. So it's part of the Dallas Fort Worth area down there. They're in the same parking lot as where the Cowboys play.
Okay.
So
mega stadium.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and that whole area is nice. It's not a long trip. We were talking about that because they only have to travel within state, which is a big state, but they get their own plane and all that. But the Diamondbacks in Philly, they got to travel 2 time zones to play each other, and so we'll see how that goes. Speaking of getting all their picks wrong, we got Sanderson to Orr here tonight. Dr. Exclusive is in the house. Joe,
Eric.
Yeah, so Joe, thank you for getting this hooked up for us. My Rolodex, I keep talking about it, getting deeper. My phone number is getting deeper.
I'll be seeing Joe next month, in like 4 weeks in Toronto. So looking forward to that.
So do you go to all the expos in Toronto?
So far, I've been since COVID, so it will be my 4th in a row. So there's twice a year. So I started in in fall of 21, mm-hmm. and then I've been every one in 22 twice, and now 23. It will be the 2nd time. So
okay.
So overall, I think it's my 4th or 5th. I think I skipped one.
And now I'm an ignorant American. How far of a trip is that for you?
I'm in Quebec City, so east side of Toronto, basically. So for me, it's about an 8-hour drive. Like,
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, less than about 500 miles or so.
Okay, that's a little. I'm going to be driving a little less than that to go to Cleveland National.
There you go.
Next
So
year.
it's a day trip, but it's not that bad. Actually, It was less distance for me to go to Cooperstown than going to Toronto. Just give you an idea.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of like a triangle, like distance. I'm kind of like, like it's pretty much the same distance, but Toronto is actually about, I think, an hour further.
So you brought up Cooperstown. You just not too long ago went there, correct?
Was 2 weeks ago, maybe I'm going on 3 weeks. I spent 1 week there, literally 7 days.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
I'm going for 2 days.
All by myself. So that was and that was a great trip, great experience. So it was my second trip there, but it was my first time kind of like on my own. And I went late fall too, like mid fall, like you'll see it's quiet. There's not been big crowds, so you can take your time to
I heard it's just beautiful there in the fall too.
It is. You're in the hills over there a little bit, so
right.
The scenery, the town, it's a couple thousand people live there, but it's like an old buildings and place are over a couple hundred years old there. So
yeah, and I mean I was a history major when I was in college, and I
love history.
I love museums and history. I'll get lost in my own mind in there, and
you got 2 days at the museum.
So that's my plan, is to be there Saturday, and I don't know how much we're going to be there Sunday because I got to catch my flight early Monday morning, but that's the plan.
You'll have time to do a nice tour.
I mean, the first time I'm gonna probably be running around like a kid on Christmas morning, wanting to rip open all the presents at one time.
It is.
Yeah, I really want to see Gary Carter stuff. I know they got a nice exhibit of him there, and also his plaque.
They have everything for everyone, literally, from 2 to 100 years old. They touch for everyone. There's 3 floors. And there's a theater, and there's like a library, and there's like all kinds of like stuff that as far as you go, then you turn, and there's another corridor that way. There's another way up over here. There's even stuff outside. So
that's I just get a little. I just hope I compose myself. I go there, and I get into the nostalgic part of it. And as Carlos says, emo Scott might come out, and my emotional side. I love this sport, love baseball, grew up playing it, and just it was my connection with a lot of
live, breathe, just every day. That's all I think or talk or want to be part of.
And that's one of I know, living in Montreal, how long were you there when the Expos were there?
Well, at my age, basically, I started be exposed to the Expos in, like, I would say about 85, as far as I remember. So, unfortunately, it was kind of like the end for Gary.
Right.
And being that young anyway, so I have some vague memories, but Dad used to take us once a year, at least every summer. And so I remember everything. My good years for me are the 90s. So the 94 with Pedro and Larry and Vladdy in 97 and so on and so on. So these guys were, so in the 90s, that was my era. That was
right. And it's amazing to see what good ball players have gone through there, and he just couldn't keep them. You start
that kind of market. As soon as the guys basically were on the like the free agency, that there was no way to keep them up to pay that kind of money. So.
Yeah, now for me, I wasn't Expos. People are like, I was, and let me tell you why. And this you might get being a dumb American, but as a little kid, I Gary Carter. I love catchers. Johnny Bench was my first guy that I used to sit in. Johnny Bench. When I was a little bitty kid, my dad drilled Johnny Bench, but I saw Gary Carter and knew what I was looking at in the early '80s. With Rock Raines and the Hawk Dawson and
Steve Rogers,
that team, should have won a World Series. Yeah, that was it for me. But when I found out it was funny because they did play because they were so good. They were on the Saturday afternoon game quite a bit, and it never failed. We're gonna break in so you can hear the Montreal broadcasts, and it would be in a different language, right? I was sitting here watching a baseball game in my house in Virginia, and all of a sudden I'm listening to like a different language, not realizing it was in a different country for me. It made
French baseball,
right? And it made it so much bigger than the world I was in, right? It was, and that put another layer to where I was an Expos fan. Like I really did like. And then when Gary Carter got traded, then I became a Mets fan. But then they won the World Series, and that's it. But that was how everybody's like, how'd you get connected with Gary Carter? I love wearing my Montreal hat when I go to shows.
You better wear it in Cooperstown.
I will have it in Cooperstown. I love the picture you have where you're sitting almost. It looks like you're in the picture.
Yes, with the first class, exactly.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture. But I wore this at the National last year, the whole time, and everybody wanted to show me Montreal stuff. Like,
people want to talk to you in a way. Yeah, people are all like, "Hey, man, the Expos," and I love so and so from so.
Yeah, and it was like, so Mike kept calling me the Expos fan, Mike O, and it was kind of funny. But
the stuff is actually cheaper and available in a way, so it's.
I can tell you what, I didn't have to ask if you had Gary. That was the first year that I bought like some nice 8x10s, a nice magazine, things that it were never available to me, and just by wearing a Montreal hat.
There you go. There's one here. Is it too bright? Probably.
Yeah, 85. Is that the? I can't see if that's the tops or the Apici.
That's the Tiffany, actually. That's the
Tiffany.
Tops.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was 0 for 2.
I gotta figure out, like, my stuff is too bright out here. So anyway,
you just gotta get that angle right when you show it.
Yeah.
So the glare's not off of it. But yeah, that because I read your little bio a while back where you like to collect Apici stuff.
It's a niche, that kind of like it narrows it down to something you're not everywhere, but when there is, it's interesting. Definitely, the fact that Apici 2 is mainly printed here on our version, but being bilingual and mainly in a hockey country, so all that baseball Apici cards are kind of like stashed. Still are, but they were way less available. So I kind of makes it unique and fun.
When you're looking for Apici stuff, did at one time he did. At one time Gary Carter did have a
pretty sure.
Yeah. I asked my mom, and she
those
said,
were tight locks.
Yeah. My mom said because later on he as he got older, he didn't have curly hair.
No, actually.
When you're trying to find your stuff in Apici, are you picky? Are you trying to find the centered, non-rough edges cards?
More basically like the uniqueness, I guess, and the I'm trying to put the 1971 Apici together baseball, which is almost pretty much impossible.
I try to do that with tops.
So I'm not the best at remembering the high numbers, the low numbers, which are the
Right.
toughest to. Obviously, the highest number, but there's yeah, I think there's a part of when in 71 the I don't know which kind of wave. Like I think it was the second or third batch of cards that came out. Hockey kind of took over, right? So that made it so thin and scarce that some of the and in 71 too, the expo cards are mainly in the OPG and the higher numbers.
Okay.
So some of these are very tough to find, and even in any condition, they're almost very hard to find.
I would have to say, the third series high number for a Peachy's got the same problem as Tops at that time, where Tops was the baseball was competing against the football, so not many people bought the third edition. So that's why they call short printed, and probably a Peachy going against hockey, the same thing. So growing up and being a baseball guy in a hockey dominated world, was that tough on you, or just
no, not necessarily tough, but it's actually I kind of grew up more hockey at first, like collecting and wise at the very beginning. I think one of those trips, like I was telling you, my dad used to take brother and I mom. One time that's you get your little, hey dad, can I get something from the souvenir shop, right? So I bought my first 1990 Tups, which was the team edition. So I had the Montreal Expo one, and I fell in love with the Larry Walker card because they had the rookie cup.
Right.
That rookie cup, for some reason, that draws me. Like that really kind of picked my eye. And then from there, I went hockey more towards baseball, and then finally like hockey. I do have a hockey stuff, but it's mainly like you. I like history, so some of that hockey that I collect is linked to growing up a Nordiques fan as well. So I collect Stastny and Michel Goulet.
Okay.
And then
I know those names.
Yeah. So, but mainly like anything I collect, mostly anything that is related to history from here locally, or French Canadian players, or even Canadian players in that regard. So, but mostly historical. If it's the older and the more unique that it can be, that's kind of what I collect. So it can be all the way to food, or knickknacks, or cards, or
so what? Matt Stairs? Are you a Matt Stairs collector?
What's that?
Matt Stairs. He played. He's like a DH off the bench guy that's from Canada.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but more the kind of like see here, like you got Eric Gagne.
Yeah.
Right. That's his rookie there. I don't have hockey much.
Right.
But that's one here, cool one that I have.
Gretzky.
It's Gretzky rookies. It's sticker.
What did that grade out as? I couldn't see.
That's a 9. That's a 9.
Wow, that's really good for a sticker.
A sticker.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I gotta figure out how to do that better, but I have Gordie Howe stuff. That's one thing I love. Just the fact that Mr. Hockey and like what he represents. There's a few things here I like Slapshot, the Chiefs, and
on your Instagram you have the triplets or whatever.
Yes, I had the chance last Expo last year to have a meet and greet with the cast of Slapshot. So that was actually very, very cool. That's one cool things you can do if you come to Toronto, and those autograph guests and stuff. You'll have some of these guys. So I just got this from Eric. I went to visit Sanderson Dehors, who owns the Chief. There it is. So got this from his friend there at a shop.
I need to make a trip up there. I'd rather make that trip than over in Atlanta next year to go to that shop. But just to play with Eric a little bit. Yeah, because I saw the picture of y'all too, and I was like, okay.
I drove basically after Cooperstown. It was like 4.5 hour drive. So.
Oh, okay.
And then like 6 hour home. So that was kind of like, I went this way, that way, and then back. Kind of.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't that bad.
So outside of sports cards, I asked this of pretty much everybody that's new to the channel. Is there anything else that you collect? Seems like collectors seem to collect various things. Is there anything else that you collect outside of cards in sports memorabilia?
I do. I have like a whole display case over there, and it's exclusively almost Montreal Expos. And bubbleheads, tickets, radios, promotional. I have 7-Up cup of Gary Carter with like one little disposable. He kind of like catches, and there's like someone coming at home base on the cup, and then umpire that kind of calling him out.
Yep.
I have toothbrushes, believe it or not. Little cars. So I do. I like pardon me.
No.
I like the uniqueness of that stuff more than cards sometimes, just because of how basically there's none left. They were all used, and people like mostly threw them away, right? So here another one, if I can try to another type of item. This is a
let me see if I can't do this real quick. Let's see. Nope, wrong guy. There we go.
This is an example. This is local, and basically that's from the 1920s. And this would have been a fan to fan yourself.
Right.
At the same time, it's a scorecard. Okay. And now, unfortunately, but hang on, I'll open it. The back is actually an advertising for a local jeweler on the 1924 season of the local team we used to have here. So, but believe it or not, I found this on eBay out of Texas. There, come on. The brightness of my screen is just unbelievable. Sorry about that.
All right.
But the back here, there you go.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
See, there's the advertisement in French. Basically, it's telling like, he's got clocks and jewelry and watches, and then there's that kind of like the scene. Like all the little kids there by the fence, and there's one there peeking through, and there's even a little dog. So, I mean, come on, this is over 100 years old.
Exactly. That is cool.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that.
And it's linked to my hometown, right? Like the address still exists to this day if you go to that street. So programs like there you go.
Let's
and this is linked to a player that I research on.
Wait a minute. So the baseball team was named the same as the CFL football team?
Yeah, in the 40s. Yeah, the Alouettes. An Alouette is like a bird, I think.
Okay, I didn't know what it was. I just know
it's like
Alouettes.
It's like a little wild chicken, I think.
Okay,
like a grouse or something in that family anyway. So, and this is all linked together to the history and of this fellow over here. And I'm in Sabre as well, so I write and do research on historical events or stadium or players here in French Canadian players, basically. So anything that I can collect that is linked to these guys or in line with that I love it. I go all the way to lately I got some Cuban cards from the 40s. Because I find out that these guys played in outlaw leagues. So they played in the Mexican leagues and they played in Cuba for about 5 times the wage you would do in Major League then.
Right.
But if you would go play over there, you were banned for 5 years. So anyway, I like these trails and finding out about that kind of stuff.
See, I collect. I'm from Virginia, so I like to collect players that are connected to Virginia. So me and you collect very, very damn similar. It's scary with the history part, and it's fun to when you start looking at the players. You found out you players are the Cuban. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're kind of like they're stickers ish, and you would actually put them in an album, so that makes it even more. How come they made it all the way here? And they're very poorly made quality wise. It's almost like paper thin, like even thinner than that. So
that's I love that. See, you start going down those rabbit.
I got more stuff, but I'm gonna have to start peeling the wall there.
No, you're good. You're making a lot of people happier because you've already showed more stuff than most people. We get to start to talking, and
well, I got more. So, but anyway, we'll start with this. How about that?
Right. So you collect French Canadian baseball players. You love baseball. You like the hockey. But me and you, we talked a little bit on the Instagrams that you're more of a baseball guy now. History for the hockey. So do you get fired up for the whole season of baseball? Are you into it like most baseball fans? Do you have like the baseball package? What team do you follow? Do you follow a team?
I follow many teams. Let's say I kind of became more fan of baseball in general when the Expo left.
Right.
I served in the Navy, so the 2000s are a blur. Like I had no time to watch, mostly kind of catch up on news, but as of like watching live events, it was tougher. I did serve on the west coast of Canada, so mainly around Vancouver.
Okay.
So that's right across from Seattle. It's only a couple hour ferry ride to Seattle.
Right.
So I used to go to see the Mariners.
Okay.
I would see at least with my wife 1 or 2 games a year. And so I got to see Chiro playing. So that was pretty cool. And Griffey, the last season, I think he played in.
Mm-hmm. So you got Ichiro, Edgar Martinez, was he still there?
Oh, I can't remember that far, but
DHing.
Yeah, it must have been because I saw the last season. I saw once Ken Griffey there. I would have said 2011, maybe 2000. Anyway, can't remember. Yes, true story. So I have a special spot for the Mariners. Just like they remind me of the Expos in a way. They're always the underdog that almost could. What it could have been, what if 95, and so
they made a nice run this year. I thought they were going to sneak in, and
it's
last year they got
one day you're all in, the next day you're like, no way, they're not making it, and oh wow, and like it ended up by. I think it's because Texas won. Right? Basically, they couldn't even make it on their own. They needed Texas.
Well, the Astros won the division.
Something like that.
Yeah, tiebreaker.
So
Texas came in second by tiebreaker. So,
but I think the Friday night Mariners were up, and that's how actually the Blue Jays got in by half a game or something.
Right. So, snuck in.
Well, I love the Blue Jays. I follow them, but if you tell me tomorrow morning a team would come back to Montreal, the Jays are out.
Well, that was something that I wanted to talk to you about. Do you know of like being in that area? Is there a group that's together trying to bring a team there, or?
Boy, it was. They did. They almost did. They had that kind of special idea. They had a thing. Remember, they were going to share the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right, half the season or whatever. Yeah,
I can't imagine how you do that, but I was one of those that I thought that half a team is better than no team.
Right.
So now I know that last idea, that last plan was killed basically by MLB in a bit, and the group that was investing, and
Right.
I think it's tough with the city too on where, if there's a new stadium, because they need a new stadium. There's no
Right.
other way around that, to have like to spend many games in that Olympic Stadium bowl there. It's massive. It's one of those that,
Right.
the old 70s concrete
Right.
park. So you need binoculars to see like the action. That's how far
Right.
you are. So that needs to
Wow.
go. So like now you're talking a new stadium. The cost of that roof, you need a roof, so that's
Yeah,
already even doubling your cost. And how much is a new franchise now? $1 billion plus
I think I think it's more than that now.
US. So
Yeah.
Canadian, it's you have a 30% exchange. You have to add on that. So
Right.
who wants to like? I don't know
Well,
who's
I
solid
think
enough to buy a team. I don't know. There's not many people, even
I tell you
companies.
I tell you what, if they asked me today, Tampa wouldn't have a team, and it would probably, I would say, send it to Montreal. At least they won it.
I could see a move. I could see like a relocation, because usually, if you look in the past, relocation moving teams are a little cheaper on the exchange, kind of like, because you need like a team, that city that just wants to pick up leftovers, right?
Right.
So
Because that I don't know if you saw how little fan presence they had for their playoff games. It was sad.
at the
Uh,
end, yeah, it
yeah,
was.
it
Sorry,
was
no, we're talking Tampa,
Tampa.
but yeah, no, it was,
Tampa.
it was. I think they had less than 20,000
Yeah,
people that first
and
opening night.
but all three games,
Yeah,
19,000,
yeah,
or both games, I should say. They lost two in
yeah.
a row. And I think most of those fans were dressed as seats because I don't believe they had that many fans.
I'm like,
Blue
I
Rock
I get it. The whole, like, they're saying like I think St. Petersburg is far out of Tampa or something like that. So it's people are basically saying like, I won't travel, but
from
even
my
that regard.
understanding, where it's hard to get to, and parking sucks. And now they want to
Oh,
build a
that's
stadium.
everywhere, Scott.
Yeah, in
That's
any city, but they want to build a new stadium right next
yeah.
door to it.
You're telling me we're a new stadium, and now all of a sudden everyone's gonna turn the fan and go to every game? I find that hard to believe.
Right. They're only going to come when a team comes to town that they're rooting for. Or
Montreal
want.
did too. I'm not, like back, like it was pretty poor too on the assistance, the crowd, but
Right.
at a certain level too, when you don't, like Oakland, like,
Mm-hmm.
when you don't have a product on the field, at some point, like, people get tired of it, and
Well, the
you
Oakland fans showed up to show their support for the
definitely.
team to stay there, but the owner, I mean, he didn't put a product on the field on purpose.
Exactly, that's what they did here too. Like
Right. I
Jeffrey
know they
Loria
did.
at the end, when he did, he just killed the whole thing.
That's why the MLB took it over, and then they moved it to Washington.
Well,
One
then
thing,
he
when I went to Washington games, they do have a Montreal Expo retired number up in the ring of honor. So it's Gary Carter, which is
yeah,
pretty
you
cool.
would have been, yeah. You have Gary Carter, Rusty Stubb, Tim Raines, Dawson.
Yeah. So
About that, I would think. Rusty
I,
Stubb for sure.
because I would wear my Montreal stuff up to Washington National. I went to quite a few Washington Nationals games when I was living in Virginia. We only lived 2 hours away. Me and my dad. We have a AAA or AA team in Richmond, which was 30 minutes away. I was like, Dad, an hour and a half, and we can be at a major league game. So that's what we started doing.
I go see local baseball here. It's Frontier League, so
Yeah.
it's just below A, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
nice league. There are like 14 clubs, and it's like $12, I think, for a seat. And we just championed back to back. Second season in that league, and Quebec City got the championship. Both
What are they calling their team? What's the name of the team?
the Capital.
El Capital. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't know if they went back because because didn't Montreal was the minor league team for Brooklyn, right?
Back in the day, the Royals, yes.
Right.
Jackie Robinson played his
Jackie Robinson. Right.
first games, let's say, in the Dodgers organization. He played for the Royals in Montreal. So is Roberto Clemente.
Right. Which that's who I like Jackie. I have a couple of nice Jackie playing days, but I
have one.
I got Clemente.
I have his 54 Jackie. I found that one in the wild too, in Montreal, and I got it graded. I don't usually, but I got that one graded, and that was it came back a 4, so I was pretty happy.
So I got the 53.
Oh, nice.
It's a 2.5.
Looks good.
In this case, it rejuvenated it. It's my dad's. I found them at my grandparents' house.
That's even more special. There you go.
Right. Well, he thought they were gone. He didn't know where his cards were. We're moving his parents.
Grandma would have thrown him out.
He thought his grandma did throw him out when he went into the Air Force. He thought his grandma threw him out. His mother, my grandmother, is a hoarder. We got
collector or hoarder?
Just a hoarder.
Sometimes it's the same, right?
Right. Well, we she
some
grew
people
up
would think collectors are hoarders. Right?
She grew up during the Depression. Classic. I'm not throwing nothing away.
You keep everything for sure.
Right. So I'm moving. I'm cleaning. Go clean out my room. So I went and started cleaning his room out, and I get to the bottom drawer and it hit newspapers from like who knows when, and I'm moving them out. They're crumpling up in my hand, and all of a sudden, bam! The whole bottom drawer is football and baseball cards, and some non-sports cards like Gunsmoke cards and things like that. So
cowboy stuff.
Right. I called him in, and he's like, "You found my collection." He took the Duke Snyder out and told me to keep the rest. So I have that. I have a couple of Mickey Mantles from that collection, things like that. Does Yanick own the Juan Soto Expo jersey short print?
That's a good
question.
I actually do. I have all of them. Scherzer has one. Soto has one, and what's his name? He's with Anaheim now. He's always hurt. I'm sorry, Los Angeles, the Angels. Anthony Random. Anthony Random. He has.
You're right, because it's Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
See, learning all the time. So, there's 3 short prints: Soto, Scherzer, and Rendon. So I do have all 3 of them. I have the Soto graded.
I need them.
There you go.
You got the Soto graded?
The Soto, I bought it in a 9. It was pretty actually cheap for a while. It was under the radar.
Well, I mean, I think you can get it pretty cheap now because, he came back and had a decent season, but
probably
Padres are kind of like the bad guys of baseball right now.
Yeah, I would say so. There's neat. The uniforms to me look shitty, but it is what it is. Like as
they wore the blue. The blue.
Yeah, but they did a terrible job. They didn't do the research. There's more pinstripes that there should be, and the crest shouldn't be there, and all that. So when you do know and notice that kind of stuff,
I didn't notice, but you'd would. Yeah,
I'll point it out to you. I'll show it out to you. It's not that bad, but it's just being an expo guy. Like Washington, to me, in a way, Nationals, they kind of don't even exist. But it's I'm kidding, of course, but it still stings a little.
Well, that
so is the Avalanche, Colorado Avalanche. That team does not exist for me.
I kind of felt like that about the Colts because I liked them until they got Indianapolis Colts. They were Baltimore Colts and moved in the middle of the night.
So
without telling anybody,
I got my heart ripped out of my chest cavity twice. Imagine like the Nordics and the Expos. So,
right. Yeah, the Nordiques, that's a classic franchise. When you say Vancouver, one of my favorite hockey players is from there. I was a huge Pavel Bure fan.
Yeah.
The Russian Rocket.
The Russian Rocket, that was something.
Yeah, I used to stay up late to watch when I could, when they were on. Back when he was playing, hockey wasn't on like it is now.
I went to a few Canucks games. Like, I didn't live necessarily in Vancouver. I lived on an island right off of there. But the 2000s, so the Sedins and Marcus Naslund and Todd Bertuzzi, and
right
before he got kicked out. So, but yeah, the Nordics. Like, I grew up. That was right here downtown, right? So it's special, I guess, to grow up in the city that you have an NHL team, especially in a market like Quebec. So, and it was insane against the what's the word? Against Montreal, the Habs basically in the Nordiques, the rivalry.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How big of a rivalry?
Oh, that was huge here. Like,
really?
Like, people and families wouldn't even talk to each other. That's
like,
like that crazy. Like, they would even make it on purpose, I guess, or they would do New Year's Eve games. So you got like everyone at home partying for the new year, and you have like basically the two biggest team in there facing each other on. So they would have like buses going like back and forth in each town to pack. Like, so in Montreal, like half the arena would be like Nordics fans and vice versa in Quebec.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Well, Washington, Baltimore has started kind of being that way when both teams got to be pretty good at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I always say when one team's good and the other team's bad, it's hard to have a rivalry. But when both teams are good, it's a lot easier. Now, how long was the Nordiques there, Yanick?
50. They went from 79 to 94, 95, so 15 years. And they were there a little earlier before that with they were in the World Association. So they went from 73 to 1995, May of 1995.
So they were in what, the WHAL or whatever?
WHA before that, World Hockey Association, when like Bobby Hall and all these guys went to play for Winnipeg, and so Quebec City basically got a team then, and 79 they got in the basically when the WHA died, NHL kind of took over and 4 teams made it. You had Winnipeg, Edmonton, Quebec City, and Hartford. That was it. Yeah. So there is a cool card of that, like in the tops. 79, 80 tops. You have the expansion card, so you have the 4 logos on one card. I have it up there, but
so I mean, I know Canada's starving for a Stanley Cup. Somebody compete for one.
Yeah, Montreal, I think was the last one, 93.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't watch hockey no more, so you can go as bad as you want. Like, I gave up. I gave up the last strike. I think it was like 2010 or 2012. I was done.
Well, I think a lot of people.
Yeah. I kind of don't like the game to no more. The way it's played and stuff. I might sound old and crotchety, but I just don't. I miss the 80s and 90s hockey.
Old time hockey.
Yeah.
I see. I don't know any better, so that's it. And also, with the Caps, I remember the Caps being bad, being shown every once in a while on my local channel.
Yes.
And then for them to come up in OV and in that group, Oshie and Backstrom, it's been fun watching them. And in 90s, I love 90s hockey. And the funny thing is, I want to say it was NHL 93 for Sega Genesis hockey game. Really turned me and my friends onto hockey.
I wasn't a Nintendo guy, but
okay, yeah. It's funny what gets you into things. We had a room. Me and my roommates had a room where we for video games, and we had the hockey. We called them the hockey gods, lined up around the wall, like all the great players. Nice Griffey.
That's the one that came with the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
So when you had the Griffey game, I guess Ken Griffey Baseball Super Nintendo.
Yep.
It came with a card, right? So
I did not know that. It's find out something every day.
Yeah. So usually they would be wrecked because people would like get it out the box, play your game, right? And
right.
So I gotta figure out that brightness. This is killing. But anyway, that's there you go. See, you didn't know? That's a 1994 Nintendo. Check it out.
Alan Rudge. I'm from Halifax. We had farm teams for both Montreal and Quebec. The V's and Citadels.
The Citadels, yeah, Quebec Citadels. St. John's, they're all kinds of. Mostly, I think Maritimes used to have the farm teams from Quebec City. So,
yeah,
that was special. That was like great. Just like it was the happening, right? Like if you made it to school the next day and you said like, "Hey man, I went to the game last night." That was just like it's like Christmas. Like you couldn't sleep. You're just like, "Oh my god, I'm going to the game," right?
Right.
So, back then too, I remember. I guess like the guys were more approachable too, and just like the, locally, I guess. So you used to see Guy Lafleur like at the supermarket, or just
even when I was a kid in the late 70s and 80s, players weren't making millions of dollars, so that you would see them out and about, and they were, if you noticed them, they were very approachable. They were happy to talk.
I remember meeting Guy Lafleur in the mall with my grandmother. And she was the one kind of like, okay, go, because anyway, so I got my card. I still have that card.
Yeah,
it's beat the hell, but it's Guy Lafleur. So with the Nordics jersey, not the Habs jersey, the Nordics jersey.
I just told a story about Brooks Robinson, meeting him as a kid. He came to our Little League tournament, and I don't know why he was there. Can't remember. But he sat there and talked to all of us kids, signed as many autographs, and and I did that for his passing. I did a little Brooks Robinson tribute last weekend. So love some Brooksy back in the day.
Incredible third baseman.
Right. I didn't really remember him, of course, playing live, but
no,
but he, he was part of Baltimore Orioles where he did a lot of broadcasting and stuff. So
there's something about Baltimore when the playoffs. It's like it's fun. It makes it better, I guess, when Baltimore I don't know why.
That stadium is so much fun, and that crowd base is so electric there. I don't know if it's all the bars around it or what. I don't know. I've been to that stadium quite a few times. It's not in a great part of town anymore, but
it's not the old Camden, right? It's the new Camden Yard, but it's already like 20, 30 years old, I guess.
Oh, it's older than that now. Camden it's the same Camden.
Oh, it's the same? Okay.
Yeah. They went from Memorial to Camden. I went to last season of Memorial. I saw the Yankees and with Dave Winfield, Don Mattingly, and all of them. Wade Boggs.
Nice.
Play the Orioles with Kyle Ripken and that group.
I haven't been to a major league game this year. First year in a while.
I have not either. I got a high A team plays less than a mile from my house.
Same.
And I have yet to see them play.
Oh, yeah. So
beautiful. I went to the stadium for a card show last weekend. They had one on the concourse there.
Yeah.
Beautiful for a high A stadium. Beautiful stadium. I was shocked it was high A.
We have an old stadium.
How did the Eric Lindros situation affect the city?
I was young, like young teens.
What was it? What happened? I don't. Somebody.
He didn't. He was number one overall at the draft,
Okay.
and basically he already said it that even if you guys are drafting me, I ain't playing. I'm not signing. And they did pick him, and he never signed. And then the story got blown out of proportion. Back then, they were trying to. People thought it was a language thing, so they made it into a whole stink. And basically, now later, wrote a book, all kinds of 20, 30 years later, you finally can talk now. And apparently, it was something between the team president / owner of the Nordiques and basically the family. Like, it was just like kind of like in between them. They didn't want to deal with that guy. But back then, it made a big deal. Like, it made the news. People were like booed him forever.
Have you ever watched the show Letterkenny?
Yes.
Please tell me y'all are not the same as they portray Quebecians or whatever.
Like Squirrely Dan does? No.
Yeah.
I don't have blue plaid. I don't.
Okay.
We do eat maple syrup, but
I like maple syrup.
It's a great show. It's a great show.
I
gotta watch Shoresy now. Shoresy 2 is out.
Shoresy 2 is coming out. Yeah. That is one of my favorite casts of funny people.
Yes.
They got. I watched one of them, and I think it was very funny when I was in Iowa, and I started watching it because I didn't have nothing else to watch. I was like, "This is freaking hilarious."
You guys can watch it on Hulu, I guess, or
Hulu.
Yeah,
streaming on Hulu.
Yeah, Eric was telling me him, his mom, and his wife they're watching it too, like religiously. Yeah, it's priceless. It's pretty good.
Right.
So there are problems.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yeah, growing up that way is like, it's fun. Good memories, I guess. Good old hockey, but now it's a little different.
To be fair. How does the Eric situation affect your life? Which Eric? The Eric that's leaving us message, or?
Yes, that Eric. Yes. Oh, it's life is way different now. No, actually, I had the chance to go visit my good friend there. We basically we started to talk to each other over YouTube.
Right.
3-4 years later now, like we see each other in Toronto at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
If you do ever have, if you like to make it to Toronto, me personally, I like the fall Toronto better. If you have one to pick, the fall one is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Little kind of with the season of hockey just started. I think Upper Deck as well gets their new series out, so it's all kind of linked together, and it's the Hall of Fame weekend induction, so you got lots of autograph guests, and so the Fall Expo is definitely
that's I'm gonna 98% sure that next year I'll be at the expo.
I'll be there.
So so I told Joe, now I'm telling you, Carlos, everybody. Carlos said he don't get there till lunchtime, but
Yeah, Carlos show up, and then when he gets there, you see him. He walks the floor.
I'm not worried about and Eric is supposed to give me a piggyback ride, so
that's one way to go for sure.
Well, I'm 6'2", 350 plus. We'll see how that works out.
He's got a big truck. I think you'll be fine. He's got like a big SUV. So I'm actually looking forward, like thinking about it. Now we're less than a month.
Yeah.
So that's the part you're getting. I started writing notes here. Okay, I need to pick up I need to get a little ComC shipment ready, and a little list of few things I'm missing. I don't necessarily go with like shopping lists, but I always kind of like give me a little kind of like, hey, I need this, or look up for that. Baseball is very slim picking, but you know, sometimes you kind of just walk and you find like gemstones here and there, or diamond in the rough. Or last year, actually, I found even like some kind of a Rocket Richard exhibit from the 40s that
really?
it looked like the exhibit. It wasn't the exhibit, but you can tell it was the same kind of like photo shoot they did, and not too sure what I bought, and I doubled my money in 20 minutes.
Because I wouldn't mind going to a show in Montreal one time, just seeing what old school Montreal stuff I could pick up. You know, baseballs. There's quite a bit of Montreal baseball stuff.
Definitely, and big time like the knick-knack stuff, the other little collectibles. You got lots.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah. We let me see if I can't. Yay! I got new toys. Let's see if that comes up at all. Yep, it did over there. That's nice. And here is Yanick. Put his information up in the chat. How you doing, Hobby News? So that way, get some information out there.
It's been an hour already.
Yeah, it's getting close. I could chat. And what I also want to tell everybody is, when you leave here, please head over to Weskergriff. He's going to be, him and the boys over there are going to be talking baseball.
The Philly love.
The Philly love for sure.
They're going to put a good show. It's going to be a good series. Like I'm on the Philly bandwagon now. I'm thinking.
Well, it was funny because, you know, I group chat with a lot of these guys, and when they lost the one game to the Braves because Austin Riley hit a home run with one game, you know, I was like,
or when Bryce went on that double and didn't tag back on time. That was
well, you know, he was trying to score.
Oh, I totally get what he was doing, but
so
you know, it kind of backfired on him a little.
Yeah,
I'm a Bryce guy. I always like Bryce Harper, no matter what. And I'm actually very happy right now that he's.
I love that he's grown up a lot here in the last few years. But
he's clutch.
You know, he was a young emotional guy with the Nationals, but he was fun to watch. I made sure I got outfield tickets so I could see him, and I loved Jason Worth when he was with the Washington Nationals.
Yes. Another bearded wonder.
I don't have a Diamondbacks hat, Mike. If you want to buy me one, I'm not that big.
There's everything you need in Cooperstown. That's right. Double the price, though, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, did you get to go to any of the card shops in Cooperstown?
Yeah, I walked the whole place. Yeah, Dave and Adams have like right next door. So they're Tufts distributor. So so there's that kind of shop, like slick, very nice. Actually, they had a sign they're moving down the street, I think, in a bigger location. But every second shop is a card shop with memorabilia stuff, or a bat, or whiskey, or anything baseball, man. Like it's like Disney World for baseball.
Right. Well, I can't wait. Meet my man Mike Friday.
Yeah, you guys gonna have fun.
So any closing comments? Because I don't want to run over too much. They're gonna want to start over there if they haven't already started. I know Bowman is probably starting his show as well. Any closing comments, Yanick, on tonight? Or
well, yeah, thank you for having me, Scott. Actually, I had a lot of fun. It's been a little while. I haven't chat like this on the tube, or even about baseball or collectibles in general. So it's always fun.
You're part of the of this community now. You have an open invite. It was what almost everybody comes on has an open invite. So you're part of that as well now with Joe and the rest of those guys. So Carlos and everybody else. I love this community, man. It's fun. We have our ups and downs, of course. So Ed's going at 9. Yeah, I can see probably why. That's fine.
Game's about to start too.
Yeah, I got the baseball game about to start as well. So I just want to let everybody know, go see Yanick and check his channel and his Instagram out. He has some very nice stuff on the Instagram, different things too. That's what I like to look at. It's not your run of the mill everyday stuff. And he also has some very good stories on there on why he collects and how he collects. Interesting, very interesting. So Yanick, thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
And until next time, like, share, tell a friend, leave a comment. If you watch this in the archives, if you've been to the Hall of Fame or any cool stories, or somebody wants to come on, just let me know. Until next time, see ya.